Welcome to the Room at the Table podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Milo. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Room at the Table podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Milo, and I can't wait for you to meet my guest today. He is a professional beach volleyball player, and many of you probably have heard his name, and you need to be watching him up and coming because he is already professional, but aiming for the stars, the Olympics in a couple of years. So you just never know. I'm super excited to introduce you to our guest. His name is Diego Perez. Welcome to the show, Diego.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so fun to cross paths with you. I met Diego through another one of my guests who I haven't aired that episode yet, but she's also an athlete on the beach and in the water. But Diego, you have an amazing history in the sport of volleyball. And if I'm correct, you started as an indoor volleyball player. Is that right?
Yeah, well, actually, I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday. My first league or anything was actually a grass volleyball league.
I've not even heard of that.
Yeah, that was when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, did a little grass league where the dads would coach and stuff.
That's cool.
And then when I was 9, we joined a indoor club team. So that's when it got a little bit more serious.
Okay, gotcha. So first of all, that's awesome. Like, I haven't heard of that. I have a volleyball player in my family. I don't even know if she's heard of that. So is that a thing? Is grass volleyball?
It's actually really big. Like throughout the country, I've been surprised. I've traveled a lot and just gone to the most random states. And there's just these little communities that are actually pretty big communities of people that just love grass volleyball. A lot of church communities like grass volleyball. I was just in South Dakota a few times this past year, which is kind of like literally the middle of nowhere. And they have so many people that just love grass volleyball.
Wow. Okay, I got to check it out. That might be maybe more my speed. It just seems more gentle.
Well, there's more grass than beach in the country.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So awesome. Well, we're going to talk today about not only your sport and just that you're a professional athlete and what that journey's been like to work that hard. Literally, it sounds like since you were a young boy, but also how your faith kind of fuels you and how you're doing something different in the sport as it relates to Jesus. So I'm really excited for people to hear about that. So before we dive in, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you're from Orange County and your history in the sport is super long, but kind of give us like the bio of, gosh, the schools, the colleges, all the accolades, the awards, because you're a professional now. So give us that big kind of picture of your journey thus far in the sport.
Yeah, so started with grass, played club when I was 9 at this club called Orange Coast Volleyball Club. It's in Lake Forest.
OCVC?
OCVC, yeah.
My daughter's in that club.
Oh, no way.
I know it well.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's where I started. Miguel was the owner when I was there. Still is. He's actually a big reason why I'm still playing because I never really took it too seriously when I was younger. And my parents kind of saw that. And there was a year or two where we were going through just a little bit of a financial hardship. And Miguel actually said, hey, you know what? I see some potential in this guy. This year is on me. So he didn't even make us pay, or he gave us like a huge discount or something.
Wow.
So yeah, my parents were gonna take me out of volleyball actually when I was about 10 or 11. But when I was 14, I get into high school, I meet more players, and one of my friends that I met in high school said, hey, like you're actually pretty good. You should consider maybe looking for a higher level team because OCVC is good, but the team that I was on just like wasn't doing very well. I tried out at a bunch of different clubs, ended up going to this one club called 9 for 9. And I didn't really actually want to go there, but my parents made me just try out at least. When I showed up, I was surprised that all the top players from every club were at that tryout.
Wow.
It was kind of crazy. It was like all the best players. And I was asking everybody, I'm like, hey, are you going to come here? Are you going to come here? And I got accepted to the team first day of practice. All of us ended up showing up. And we kind of knew that it was going to be a very special team. And we were right. We ended up winning 4 national championships in club, 4 in a row, which we were the first team to ever do that, actually.
And were you 16, 17? How old were you at this time?
I was 14 through 18.
Younger. Oh, yeah. So you were there for a good chunk. So high school, basically.
Every year of high school, yeah.
Every year of high school. And then did you go to Corona Del Mar? Is that right? What high school?
I did, yes.
You did,
yes.
Okay.
So a few of my teammates from that club were at Corona Del Mar.
Okay.
I was living in Irvine. going to university high school.
Okay.
But the level there was also pretty low, so some of my friends recommended, "Hey, why don't you transfer schools?" Um,
Mhm.
my parents and I ended up actually making a move to Newport Beach so I could go to the school.
Got it. I know that's a thing. I know Corona Del Mar is kinda known for their at least women's volleyball too, because 'cause I've known some of
Yeah.
my daughter's friends there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were the best team in the country, best team in the state.
Wow.
Um, so it was actually a pretty good decision, I think. It helped me out in the long run.
And what was
But
your position?
I was a libero.
Okay.
So I'm pretty short. I'm actually one of the smallest people on the tour right now.
Mm.
Um,
But
I'm
you're not short, short, like, you're what,
I'm
5'11"?
5'11".
Yeah, so, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Well,
not by volleyball standards, I know that's short.
volleyball standards, I think even 6'2" is kinda short.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Yeah, I know, it's
Yeah, so
amazing.
so I was never really into volleyball too much when I was younger, but once we won that first national championship,
Ooh.
I was like, "Oh, wow, maybe I can go to college for this, or maybe I can make something of
You
this."
got the taste for winning and
Yeah,
realizing
yeah,
you
yeah.
had a
Playing at a really
vision.
high level, which is kind
Mhm.
of what I love most about the game, is just playing at the highest level possible.
It's amazing to watch, especially I mean, women's sports is, of course, incredible too, women's collegiate and all of that, but,
Mhm.
like, the way the men's when I'm watching some of the men's and then spike the ball or anybody who's a really female or male, but that spike of the ball going basically straight down vertically,
Yeah, yeah.
it's so fun to watch and just think, "Well, nobody can return that." So,
It's fun to do, yeah, when you get the chance.
okay, so now you're in high school and then did you had your sights set on college
Yes, so I
play.
realized I can go to college for this around when we were, like, 16, 17. That's when college recruits start really reaching out,
Mhm.
and because we were the best team, I had every Division I school reaching out to me.
Wow,
All the players on my team were getting recruited to D1 schools.
amazing.
Um, I I had UCLA was, like, the main people talking to me, and
Mm,
that was the school I really wanted to go to.
mhm.
And it's a long story that I might be jumping the gun here on what we're gonna talk about
No,
soon,
go
but
for it. We can always backtrack if we need
yeah,
to.
yeah. So I wasn't a Christian when I was in high school.
Okay,
I grew up going to church, but I wasn't a born again believer. I didn't
okay.
really care too much. So on these recruiting visits, um, often the team will take the recruits out to like a party, right? Show them a good time, try to convince them to go to school. So I pretty much would do that. I'd go to all these recruiting visits and go to parties. And at one of the schools, I ended up getting caught doing some, they call it extracurricular activities. Um, so the coach ended up calling me after taking away my scholarship. Word got around that I was this bad kid or whatever. And every school stopped talking to me. So I went from top
Wow.
recruit, UCLA, probably was going to go to UCLA,
Wow.
to now having to go to community college.
Okay, wait, that's huge.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
and
it
now
was a
you
really big deal.
now you have more maturity and wisdom to look back at that, but I bet at the time, were you just crushed? I mean, as a teen, that is really hard to handle and cope with.
Well, there was a lot that I was dealing with. Yeah, so well, losing scholarships was was a big deal. Yeah, it was kind of like
Mhm.
I thought I was so cool because I had all
Right.
these D1 schools talking to me, and then also my parents didn't know, like, kind of a lot that I was doing
Mm,
outside of the house, so I
okay.
had to, like I was pretty much lying to them, like, "Oh, no, like, they got this wrong," and, yeah, it was a pretty big deal for me,
Mhm.
and then my dad was, like, pretty just kinda sad that, like, that happened, and,
Of course, yeah.
um
Like, how did this happen? How could this happen? Because if they don't know kind of the trajectory that, in hiding that was going on,
Yeah.
they're confused. So they're like, "How
Yeah,
did
they were
this"
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what happens at that point? Are you still a senior when this happens? Because you
I'm
were on the
about a yeah, Ju end of junior year,
okay, and
decide,
you go
"Okay,
on this
I'm"
recruiting trip, some stuff goes down. How did it get out, by the way? Is it just do you know what I
um
mean? Like, really, how do they find how do all these schools find this out?
Yeah, so okay, I guess the initial school, it was at, BYU. So BYU is
Okay,
a Mormon school, and
right.
they don't really allow that stuff on campus, but there still is, and I guess there was somebody there at the party that told on the team, and then the team,
Oh, got
I
it.
guess, used me as a scapegoat or something. I was guilty, but
Yeah,
seemed
yeah,
like they tried to put a lot of the blame on me, and then the
interesting.
coach called me And just kinda word in the volleyball community gets around pretty
Yeah.
quick. It's a small community.
Yeah. That's it's human beings being human beings, talking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what happens after that? So the scholarship stop being
Yeah,
offered.
so I guess senior year of high school, I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna go to, community college." Decided to go to Orange Coast Community College right down the street from me now. Um, and I was injured. I got injured at the end of my senior year, so I wasn't practicing a ton, but I had a good relationship with the coach there, and he was doing a lot of, like, the recruiting for me, so talking to a lot of coaches who knew I was a good player, but kind of wanted to see me prove myself,
Mm,
that I was more mature or whatever.
got it, got
So I
it.
had a few schools talking to me, like USC and Pepperdine were the big ones.
Okay.
I became a Christian that year. So my freshman year of college, my whole life changed, became a born again believer. So I decided to go to Pepperdine because it's a Christian school.
And can I ask, I mean, I'll just stop you on this story because I was gonna ask you anyway, how were you introduced to him? How did you meet
Yeah.
him?
Well, part of it was losing all my scholarships.
Mhm.
I had a pretty good life growing up, like nothing really bad ever happened to me. Um, and I kind of like said I believed in God and I'd go to church and I'd do the summer camps and stuff, but I was just living in sin.
Yeah.
Um, so
Very
it was,
common at that age, though. I mean, kids are often, even if they're raised in the faith, maybe deep or not even deep in it, they're experimenting, they're trying to figure
uh
out who they are. Like you said, your ego is kind of big because you're feeling good about yourself, and so you feel, like, untouchable. So it's
mhm,
so common, like, that's just part of our development, I think, sometimes in our American culture that at that age, we don't take things, seriously and don't even know we're sinning, so to speak. We know we probably shouldn't be doing it, but we don't take it as deep. So it sounds like it really hit you hard, when you went through that experience so that then you were open to,
yeah,
faith in a different
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, it was that and a few other things. So that year, my junior year, summer going into my senior year of high school, I found out that my dad had cancer,
Oh, I'm so
and
sorry.
later that year, he actually passed away.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
sorry.
it was
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it was that and then the scholarships, and then I got
Mm.
injured, and then,
Oh,
like, all my friends left, and I was kinda here by myself, and we had to move out of Newport Beach, couldn't afford it. Like, it was kind of all these things.
wow. A lot of big hitting trials at one time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, in the matter of a year, and
Gee.
I remember just I mean, I say it now with a smile on my face, but, like, I was actually really, really sad. It was, like, all these things that I had built my life on that I cared so much about,
Mhm.
like, I just lost. So,
A lot of suffering. Yeah.
I remember just thinking, like, "Am I going to just do this all again? Am I gonna just, like, acquire these things that I once had just to make myself, like, happy
Mhm.
again? Or am I gonna find something else that I could build my life on?" That was literally
Mhm.
the thoughts that were going through my head, and I realized
Wow.
that the only wise thing to do is to build your life on something that will always stand. I
Mm.
realized the Lord is the only thing that will always exist, that will always be there, that will never fail you. Um,
That's amazing for what, 17, 18? How old were you at
yeah, I
the
was 18, yeah, yeah.
I think when you lose a loved one, especially an immediate family member like that, it really does impact you in
Mhm.
a profound way when you're at a young age. So that combined with all the other stuff, it's amazing that you had that maturity to go, "Gosh, w who am I? What can I build my life on that won't change?" Because we're not always here, our people we love die, we're gonna die, we can make mistakes, we can sin. So we
Yeah.
can change, and so what's the one thing that won't? So that's amazing. Who introduced you to I mean, I know you said you had
We
been
grew up
kind of
going to
raised.
church. My
Yeah,
mom
okay.
was kind of the main driving factor in that, she would
Okay.
talk to me about the Lord growing up but I really just wanted some direction in life kind of after all these things happened, and I just prayed and I was like, "God, you gotta speak to me. You gotta tell me something." And I realized that if
Mm,
I want the Lord to speak to me, I should probably read his word. So I
mm,
went in my mom's room, found a Bible, just kind of flipped it open somewhere in the New Testament, and I just remember it hitting me like a truck, just like reading it for the first time really for myself and just
mhm,
realizing like, wow, this is so true. Like everything in here is true and it's explaining life in just such a clear way that I've never heard before.
mm,
And kind of from that moment on, I was sold. I was like, yeah, whatever the Bible says, I'll do it and
mm.
I'll believe it.
That was the
And
moment you started owning your faith for yourself. It wasn't your
yeah.
mom's faith, it wasn't a borrowed faith. There's a book called Own It, and it's all
Uh-huh.
about that process. So each person has to kind of find their own desire, to understand it and meet Christ and make it their own, not their mothers or their fathers or their siblings or their friends, but that was the moment for you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a verse in John, I think it's John chapter 3, where it says that pretty much your faith is not by the will of man, right? So
Mm.
it's not by the will of man or even blood. Um, so yeah, it's not by your own strength, it's not by who you're related to, but it's
Mhm.
the Spirit, the Holy Spirit has to do a work in you.
Yeah, with you individually. He's so specific, isn't he? It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now you're owning your faith. You're still a senior in high school. Or were you going to Orange Coast College at that time?
I was freshman at Orange Coast
Orange
Community
Coast.
College. Yeah.
Okay, and so you're playing volleyball there, indoor?
Well, I was injured, so I was just kind of there. I wasn't really
Okay.
practicing. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
How long did your injury take? It's such a bummer with young athletes and they get injured. I mean, any athlete, but just when you're trying to climb and then you get
Yeah.
injured, it's
It
so
was
hard.
almost 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
It
Okay.
was, some ligament in my foot.
Oh,
Yeah.
in your foot. Okay. I was going to
Yeah.
think like shoulder or something like that. But okay. So you got through that. Did you stay at Orange Coast? Where did your volleyball take you next?
Yeah, within a semester, I got recruited to Pepperdine, committed there. So then the next year, I went to Pepperdine. Um, so yeah, I guess it would be my sophomore year of college. Went to Pepperdine, all excited because it was supposed to be a Christian school, and then I get
Hmm.
there and I realized that most people weren't really
Yeah.
on the same page as me. I
Yeah.
was having this like big like eye-opening moment, like
Yes.
everything in my life changed, and it just I kind of didn't see that with a lot of people over there, especially
Hmm.
people like saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian," but then their life not matching.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Very
like how I
common.
was when I was in high
Right.
school.
Very common. I went to Santa Clara. A lot of my friends were Catholic. I wasn't even raised Catholic, but I wanted a Christian school and nobody was practicing their Catholicism where it was impacting their choices.
Mhm.
And even to this day, I still hear as a mom with my friends whose kids are going to colleges, Catholic schools, Christian schools, their staff is not necessarily walking the talk. I mean, it's super fascinating that's just humanity, people being people.
Mhm.
But if you call yourself like a Christian or a Catholic university, I would think that you would be walking your talk. And so it's hard. It's hard on the kids who are hungry for it, I think.
Yeah.
Witnessed that with people today. So, okay, so you're at Pepperdine. Are you still libero, by the way,
Yeah,
at
I
that
was a
point?
libero.
Okay.
Yeah, at first. I
And
ended up starting pretty quickly, got like MPSF, which was our league, like all freshman team or something, I don't know.
what is
Uh,
MPSF?
MPSF is Mountain Pacific
Oh,
something. It's
okay.
just a league. We play against like USC, UCLA,
Got it.
BYU,
Oh,
kind of
the Western
that league.
okay, yeah. You
Yeah.
have a huge list of awards and accolades, so this might be a good time to kinda just tell everybody, and then we'll dive back into the college. So, list some of your achievements just so people understand, like, the level that you're at now.
Okay, well, I don't know. There's I guess four national championships in club, one or two CIF championships in high school,
Okay.
one national championship in high school
Wow.
at Corona Del Mar, and then I guess MPSF all freshman team when I was at Pepperdine. I ended up transferring schools after COVID to the Masters University, it was NAIA, and then I think I got like
Okay.
All American there a couple times. I don't
Amazing.
really remember.
You have so
Uh,
many, you're like, "I don't remember anymore." That's a good sign.
yeah, we made it
Uh,
to the national championship finals when I was there. We didn't win it, but
so real
that
high level competition in college, in club. So when you're at Pepperdine, then you said you didn't stay there? You ended up transferring to
yeah. So during COVID, we were all online, and I mean,
Yeah.
Pepperdine's expensive, and especially not being able to play, it's like, okay, what am I
Mm,
doing here? So I ended up
mhm.
dropping out with no intention of actually going back to school. During COVID, I was coaching, I was doing my own business stuff, and I just didn't really see any need for college with what
Were
I
you
was
a
doing.
business major? Like, what did you major? I'm curious for all the other athletes out there trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so I ended up going back to school, and I got my degree in entrepreneurship,
Awesome.
which is
And you're
a fairly
applying it.
new degree. Yeah, now I'm doing it,
We're gonna
yeah.
talk about that. You're applying it. Yay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so and then after Pepperdine or COVID, such a bummer, right? COVID just like it's terrible even for, for the kids that weren't even athletes, but I didn't even think about that because my kids were younger. They weren't in like really intense sports in high school. Well, one was, but I have 4 kids. So the younger 2 are, the older 2 at that time weren't, but I didn't think about as an athlete how much that could have impacted your trajectory, to get into colleges and all that stuff or colleges to transfer to other colleges. So how did that work for you guys or and you
Yeah, so I
specifically?
was, well, I just didn't see I was like, "Why am I going to the school if I'm not playing?" That was kind of the main reason why I went
Mhm.
there. So then I dropped out and spent almost a year doing my own thing, and then this school called the Masters University reached out to me through Instagram, which I think is funny that
Wow,
that
wow.
happens, yeah.
See,
Um,
they're always watching. If you have an Instagram account, they're always watching you athletes.
yeah, yeah. No, they literally are, and this coach does a really good job of recruiting, but they're a Christian school, and they're very I mean, I wouldn't say strict Christian school, but I would say they care a lot that their students are Christians,
Mhm.
and that they're actually, like, living it out.
Got it.
So that's makes it a little bit harder to recruit athletes because it's just
For
the numbers
sure.
go way down.
Now they go way down, right.
So he saw my social media, he's like, "Oh, this guy's a believer and he's pretty good," so reached out. I went on a visit there. Long story short, they gave me a scholarship. I ended up playing there.
And are they
Kinda turned
local? Where are they?
Sorry?
Where is Masters
They're in
University?
Santa Clarita,
Okay.
which is, like, 30 minutes north of UCLA.
Okay, okay. So that's nice. You're still getting to stay. Your mom can come watch your games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she was telling me she's my biggest fan.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So go there. The program is pretty small and new and not really competing at a very high level, but when I came and then a few players after me came, the program turned around to where now they're the best team in the country.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And you had a
In
hand in
the
that.
NAIA in that division, which is
Okay.
different from Division 1.
Right. Okay. Very cool. So was that your most recent is that where you graduated from with your degree
Yes.
then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah, about almost a year ago is when I finally graduated. I'm
Wow.
25 now.
Okay.
So, it took a while because I had dropped out and then
Came
transferred a
back.
couple times, so, like, not all the classes transferred
Right.
over. But yeah, I
So
just finished.
and was it libero the whole way through?
I actually moved to outside hitter.
Okay.
So, when I was
Love
at
it.
Masters, I played outside hitter, and then we ended up playing Pepperdine
Oh.
with me hitting, and we beat Pepperdine,
Oh my god, with
which
you
is cool.
hitting, I love it. That is so
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So your vertical
Yeah.
must be pretty darn good if you're one of the shorter ones on the team, even at
Yeah, yeah,
5'11" and outside hitting. That is so cool.
yeah.
Okay, but now your whole life is beach, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we gotta talk about how that transition happened. So you were indoor until you graduated.
Indoor, and then I think around 2019 is when I was like, "Oh, I wanna play more beach, play a little bit more competitively."
Okay.
Um, I played so there's different levels of tournaments. I guess there's unrated and then B, A, double A, triple A,
Oh,
and
got it.
and
Okay.
open. Open is like the highest
The
level. Open
highest.
and
Okay.
triple A are pretty much the same.
Okay.
Um, and so I started playing in like higher level tournaments.
Got it.
2019, I played in my first open level tournament, which is like I guess considered pro level, but then even in the pro level, there's like different levels based on how much money's in the tournament.
Got it. Makes
I
sense.
played my first open level tournament and got just destroyed. And I remember just thinking like, okay, this is not okay. Like I need to do way better than that.
This is
Um,
unacceptable.
yeah, because I was so used to being the best
Right,
in the
right.
country and then get just demolished. I'm like, wow.
So it didn't make you insecure, it made you hungry to get better
Yeah,
and to want it
and
more.
that's what separates the best athletes
Yeah,
from
yeah.
mediocre athletes is, like, how do you respond to pressure or adversity of, like,
Exactly.
do you turn it on? Like, do you work harder? Do you play better? Or do you fold?
So
Um,
good, so
yeah,
good. Okay, so but how did you I mean, transitioning from indoor to beach is a thing. You have to have the beach skills. I mean, obviously the core skills are there, but it's sand. It's a completely different and it's only
yeah,
two of you usually, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
who was your coach? How'd you transition to this? Because that's kind of related to some of your faith story, I know.
Yeah, super related. I mean, so indoor volleyball is very structured. sign up for a team, you have a coach there, you have your set practices and everything. For beach volleyball, it's completely on your own. You schedule your own practices, you sign up for your own tournaments, you find your
Wow.
partner, and
Wow.
that could change between every tournament. You can play with a new guy every single tournament.
Wow.
So it's a lot. There's
Why is the culture that different? Why isn't it more structured?
it's it's a lot like tennis or golf actually.
Okay.
The tennis or golf
Interesting.
are very similar. Of you sign up for your own tournaments, depending on the size of the tournament, you get points, and
Okay.
that's just how
That's
it
just
is.
how it is, and there's less people if it's just you and one other partner, I guess,
I
and
think
kind of like
because there's
same for
it's
tennis.
only
Yeah.
doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you can't
Okay.
really join a team, and there's no like subs, right? So
Makes
if
sense.
one guy's playing bad, you don't just have another guy like hop in there.
Okay. So then you had to take a lot of ownership in your practicing and in your improvement and your progress.
Yeah, and I had no idea what I was doing, and that's when I met Michael Clark.
Okay.
So that was around 2021. I met well, okay, I guess okay, so this guy, Michael, he sent me a text, long text saying pretty much, "Hey, I used to play professional beach volleyball. I'm a Christian. I'm gonna be doing these discipleship training groups, and we'll train a couple times a week.
For
I'm gonna be
volleyball
there
play.
for beach volleyball." Yeah.
Got it.
So he sent that text out to, I guess, all the highest level Christian beach volleyball players that he had heard of.
Wow, wow.
Um, and I was one of those guys. So I show up and he preaches the gospel for the first like 30 minutes. We pray and then we train. And it was kind of like, I felt like it was just a gift from the Lord of like, this is
Yeah,
exactly what I needed. Some structure, some mentorship, and then also in the Lord with the sport. Um, and
and it
he,
fell on your lap, basically.
yeah, it just came
Wow,
straight to me.
wow.
So started doing those trainings in 2021 multiple times a week. We'd start 6 a.m. He'd make us do a lot of sprints, a lot of
Mhm.
burpees.
Mhm. What
Um,
beach were you at, by the way?
we were actually just training at a park in Irvine, the Great
Oh,
Park.
really? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
that's where we started. And Michael kind of right away was like, "Hey, I'm going to teach you guys how to use the sport for the glory of God." Because
Awesome.
we hear these like trigger words like all over
Mhm.
the place. Like, oh, like let's do this for God's glory, or like let's win
Yeah.
this game so that the Lord can be glorified. It's like, okay, well, what does that even really
What does it
mean?
really mean? Right, right.
Yeah, how do you
In
actually?
reality, how do you walk that out? Yeah, what does it look like?
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of things he showed me was, well, one is the world actually looks at how you handle your life and how you do your job and how you just like take care of things that you have,
Mhm.
and they judge you based off that, and they don't just judge you based off that, they judge God kind of how you live,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So it's really important for you to
Be an
do
ambassador.
everything.
Yeah,
Sorry?
you're like sorry to interrupt you, you're like an ambassador because
Exactly,
people are watching
exactly. Yeah,
him through you.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, so it's important that we do things excellently,
Wow.
to
So
be a
good.
good representative of Christ.
Mhm.
So that was one thing, and then the other thing was when we went to tournaments, he would come along and he'd say pretty much just, "Hey, follow me." And then he'd walk around to all the umbrellas and invite people in to hear the gospel, right? So we literally just walk up to random people that we don't know and who are not there for the Lord. They're just there for volleyball on like a Saturday morning or whatever, call them in.
Wow.
I was super uncomfortable doing that at
I
first.
know. I'm sure a lot of people listening are, like, cringing, like, "Wait, what?" I don't know if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
they
do
look at
that.
us like, "What? Like, what are you?"
So he's like the mama duck, and you're like these little ducks in a row behind him, like, walking to these people, and he's just teaching you how to say it and what to do.
He would just do it, and we'd just be there and just kinda, like, feel that discomfort, and then he would
It's so
preach, and
awesome.
then we'd be there, and I was kind of pretty quickly the main guy that was coming to these trainings and working with him. A lot of the guys would kinda be in and out, and, but I was pretty committed to the sport and
Mm,
lived in the area, and I had the time. So, Michael and I got pretty close pretty quickly.
mm.
So often it was just him and me,
Wow.
but he would preach, all the people would come, and then after I don't know, however many months, one day he calls everybody in and he says, "Hey, Diego has a gospel message for you guys." It just puts me on the spot like that.
No way. Were
Yeah.
you did you look at him like, what are you doing? What are you
No,
talking
yeah, I
about?"
was like, okay." I mean, what was I gonna do? Like, everybody was there looking at me. I'm like, "I guess I have to go for it." So I
Jeez,
just
okay, yeah, and what are
yeah.
you, like, 22, 23? How old were you?
I was probably 22 at the time, yeah.
Okay, so this was to your peers, though. This is to the guys that were all
This
there
is
at the
to people that I knew that played beach volleyball
okay.
that weren't Christians.
Oh, okay, so what tell me do you remember what you said?
Um, I don't remember, yeah.
You fumbled through it? No, I'm sure you did great. I'm sure you did great.
Well, I mean, up to this point, I've done this so many times to where
Oh,
it's, like, not really
okay.
a big deal anymore.
Yeah. No, you get used to it for sure. But at the beginning when you're learning how to put words to what you feel, it's really hard, especially in front of other people. It's hard enough to pray out loud when you're becoming
Yeah.
a solid Christian, but then to actually preach the gospel. But you had witnessed him for so long that you
Yeah,
had a
and
sense.
I had been a believer for 3 years, and I think I had been pretty bold in
Mhm.
my faith and just preaching to just people, like, one-on-one, like,
Mm.
as soon as I became a Christian, I, like, texted all my friends that I knew and just trying to, like, share the gospel with them or posting on Instagram just videos of me just sharing things that I was learning, so I was like I guess I had practice, like,
Yeah, I see.
speaking about the Lord, but
Mhm,
never
mhm.
in that context.
It's just so cool to be bold, like you said, because I
Mhm,
think a lot of people, even my age, I'm in some like parachurch organizations and things, and they're believer. A lot of the peers are believers, but they're so uncomfortable and nervous about talking aloud and sharing their faith aloud. So it's just amazing. I get so inspired about people that are young doing it,
mhm.
because if older people can't even do it and they have been believers for a long time, is that a loss of, their own kind of growth, or is it just their temperament? They're nervous. So when I see young kids doing it, it's so inspiring to me because they're unafraid. So you were kind of growing unafraid. And I guess my question to you, Diego, is do you feel like you've maybe been less afraid because you have really suffered some harder things at a younger age that not everybody has?
Yeah, I think, it's maybe just more real to me
Mm,
than most because I guess, like, lost a lot of things, so then
right, right.
it's just like yeah, it was I mean, the Lord saved me, saved me just
Yeah,
not just from my own sin, but from the path that I was going on,
right, right.
um,
Yeah, very
and it was
true.
really just when I had this life transformation, you can call it, um, I was really just sharing it with people because I knew a lot of people didn't know this, and it helped me out a lot, but it was mainly like I was reading the Bible and even though I grew up going to church, I never knew what was in the Bible. So I was just sharing
Mhm.
with people like, "Hey, this is what it says. I know a lot of you say you're Christians, but I didn't know this, so I'm assuming you probably don't know this too." So I was just
Right.
sharing it like that, like just
Got it.
informing people.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was, I guess, initially surprised that a lot of people weren't very happy about it.
Oh, interesting. How did you know that? They would tell you?
Oh, they would just, yeah, like curse me out to my face or just talk behind my back or just all these things,
Mhm.
which I guess the Bible warns you about,
Oh,
but
yeah. I mean, we
in
know
your
that's gonna
first couple
come.
months in the faith, you're not really expecting
Right.
that.
But it's hard. It's still hard to see because your intention is so good and what you're sharing means so much to you and it's such a positive thing in your life. It's ironic that people are perceiving it like you're, not good and you're evil and you're controlling and you're just trying to say, "Hey, this is such a amazing part of my life and I
Yeah.
want you to share it and I want you to feel it too."
Yeah, well, the Bible says the people in the dark hate the light. The
That's
people
right.
who are in darkness hate light.
Yeah. So
So they're gonna
true.
be upset at it, yeah.
So you started learning how to like really talk the gospel and then I mean you're still involved with Mike, right? Is he still your
Mhm.
coach? And I'm going to
Yes,
have
he's still
him
my
on the
coach. He
show
was just with
soon.
us in New Zealand, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you just got back from New Zealand. What was that? I'm just curious. What was that competition that you guys were there at?
It was a professional international tournament, so we were going
Wow.
representing the United States,
Awesome.
played against a bunch of different countries. We played against Japan, New Zealand, Latvia,
Wow. Wow.
Australia.
Wow. How'd you guys do?
We finished 3rd place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, so cool. So you're still doing the I don't know, what do you call it? Discipling
Yeah, you
people?
could call it, yeah, discipleship, beach volleyball ministry.
And that's your core, is that one of your core ways that you practice even just for the sport, is you go to the beach with like, he's your coach, and this is kinda how you do it, how you do your
Yeah, this is what we
practicing?
do. So some
Okay.
tournaments, every tournament looks kind of different, just like the way they're structured, right? So some tournaments, it's easy to bring people in the mornings because everybody shows up at the same time.
Mhm.
In higher level professional tournaments, the matches are all at different times.
Mm.
So it's harder to do in the mornings, but we'll do it in the afternoon, right? So like when we go to an international tournament, for example, New Zealand, the first maybe 4 days that we're there, we're just kind of building relationships, scoping the area out, and then finding like maybe a good opportunity, a good location to call people in. And then as we're letting people know throughout the week. So we were there for actually a long time this past tournament. But it wasn't until Saturday that we ended up gathering a bunch of people in the afternoon. It was like actually like 6 p.m.
Wow, it's
For the
so in
word, yeah.
okay, so, I mean, it's really twofold, like, you're a professional athlete, and that's what you want to do, continue to do professionally, earn your living doing that, and you said you
Mhm.
also coach. You told me before we started recording that you're coaching as well.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right? Do you do privates, or you just do is it
Yeah,
all
mainly
beach, by the
privates.
way?
Private lessons pay the best. Online coaching just gives me flexibility too. Like professional beach volleyball doesn't really pay that great from just like
Yeah.
tournament winnings. So,
Right, right,
but when you have the platform as a pro athlete, you can get more lessons, charge more money. You can get
right.
sponsorships. It's like other ways that you really make your money.
So you're coaching, whether it's online, in person, and is it just volleyball in general? Like, you have indoor clients too?
Yeah, volleyball, beach, and grass mainly. I do
Okay.
some indoor, but I try to stay away from indoor, even though I
Gotcha.
know it pretty
That's so
well. It's just
interesting. Why do you try to stay away from it? Are you just over it because you did it so long?
it's just it's just more complicated, like
Mm,
getting a gym too to do private lessons is just a
I
little bit
know.
more of a hassle. You have to
It's a
pay for that,
thing. Yeah.
right? And then like also indoor volleyball, everybody has their own positions, right? Which I know all of them pretty well, but it gets a little bit too nuanced to where
Got
it
it.
would just take too much of my time.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, so you're doing the practices, like, kind of paint the picture of, because this is twofold. It feels like you're practicing for your career, but you also are kind of intentional about bringing people the gospel. So it's like
Mhm.
such a unique marrying of two of your passions, like the sport
Yeah.
you love to play and then the God you love. So
Mhm.
can you kind of paint the picture of like what that looks like? And are there other guys in this team? Because even though you're beach players, you don't have big teams. Like, tell me about the group. So a lot of questions in there.
Yeah. So we try to encourage everybody, even if they're not in beach volleyball, to not divorce their faith from their life, right? So if
Mm,
volleyball is the biggest part of your life, like the Lord should be involved in that, or whatever job it is, or
whatever
whatever you
sport.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
too.
right. Um, and it's pretty simple, just being intentional, starting the day with the Lord, and then having that on your mind of like using those
Hmm.
opportunities and those relationships as an opportunity to preach the gospel. So our group, we do weekly trainings that pretty much anybody's allowed to come to. We try to keep the level pretty high.
Yeah.
Right now, there's nobody at my level that's maybe on the same page and same devotion to the Lord.
Okay.
Just because it's a small world. Like I said, I was playing. I'm top 30 in the country. Like there's
Hmm.
not really
Of course.
many people like this. So, but we've been ministering to guys in the leagues for the past years, and we've seen some people come to faith, some people growing in the Lord, um, but it's pretty grassroots, like we've only been doing this for 4 years now,
Okay.
and we've seen the Lord do some incredible things, but our team is pretty small right
Okay.
now.
And but you also have T-shirts that you guys wear. So tell me
Yeah.
about, and I know that's part of the entrepreneurship. So give us the big
Mhm.
picture if that's related to the Jesus Rules website and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
that came to be, because that's part of what you do.
yeah, yeah. So I guess my first year playing professionally, within a couple tournaments, I realized like, oh, the league lets me wear whatever I want. Like some people don't wear a shirt, some people do. Like, why not just put something bold that's for Jesus on it, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I had this idea to put the words Jesus Rules on the back. I wish I had a shirt right here. Actually, I do here. I'll show the shirt.
And everyone needs to go to the website. If you're on Apple and you're not seeing the video, because that Apple's the only one that doesn't do the video,
Okay.
Spotify and YouTube have it. It's a plain, like, colored T-shirt, what different
Yeah.
colors, but then
This
on
might
the
be
back,
backwards, but this is the
Jesus
back,
rules,
and
okay,
then the
in big
front has
letters,
this cross on
a
it.
big old bold cross, yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's powerful.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
love about it.
Yeah, saying Jesus rules is a strong statement. It's more than just saying like, "Oh, God loves you," or "Jesus loves you," but it's like, no, Jesus actually reigns and
Exactly.
he rules whether you like it or not. So
I'm all in, Diego, I'm all in.
yeah.
I've thought about what color am I gonna get?
So I started wearing that. I just printed a bunch of these shirts on my own and started wearing that first year. And um I mean, at first you're a little uncomfortable of like, stepping into the beach volleyball party world with a statement
Mm,
that's very the opposite.
mm.
Um
Is that true for volleyball? Like, beach volleyball is more of just like a total kind of a surfing vibe where it's just anything
A
goes?
lot
Yeah,
more party vibe, yeah. Yeah, I
really?
think
Okay.
even more than surfing, yeah.
Really? What?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think that is? Because I think stereotypically people would say, "Oh, surfers are more, I don't know, hang loose and Hawaii vibe of just like drinking, partying,
Yeah,
don't care."
maybe surfers are more, like, chilled stuff, but I think beach volleyball is more like party, like, go to the clubs and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So
So
then you really felt like you stuck out with the shirt
oh,
on
for
that
sure,
says
yeah, yeah. So I'd wear the shirt, and then people started asking me, like, "Hey, are you selling these shirts, or where'd you get them?" And then I was like, I just make them on my own." So then I started buying more of them to sell them, and then got connected with a pastor who has a screen printing company that
Oh.
he was printing a bunch of shirts for me, and I started selling them like that, and then I had too many orders, so I just made a website, and then it's kind of been just growing from there.
But your website is more than just T-shirts, like the Jesus is it jesusrules.co? What or
Yeah,
dot
yeah,
.com?
yeah.
Yeah, .co. But it's more than that. It's about, like, what you're doing with Mike, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
have him on because it'll kinda complete, like, the
Mhm.
story of the discipling that you do on the sand and with people, but your website is more than just T-shirts, so tell us about that.
Yeah, the website just gives a little bit more into like what we do, like the weekly discipleship, um, the ministry at the tournaments, and then people can donate to our ministry because there's a
Mhm.
lot of expenses with what we do, and then also people can they can reach out and we just started doing this past year of um, churches or organizations will fly us out, or just people will fly us out to like run a camp and preach. So
Oh.
we'll teach volleyball and preach.
Oh,
We did a
awesome.
few of those last year. So I think on the website there's a form where you can request to fly us out, and we don't charge for that. It's just we just ask people to cover our costs, and then if they
Wow.
want to make a donation on top of that, they can.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
so
so
the
you have
website talks about that.
and it's T-shirts and some sweatshirts, I think, right?
T-shirts and sweatshirts. We'll be making more things
I
soon,
was
but
gonna say
I'm doing like almost everything myself.
anybody
So
out there who wants to help Diego?
so
Wow,
yeah.
that's impressive. But yeah, I do love the shirts, and I think the site is a great catch-all for your purpose with the discipleship group. I mean, do you call yourselves Jesus Rule? Like, what's the name of kinda your
The our nonprofit is Jesus Rules Ministries.
ministries? Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I thought.
because it was originally the website was Jesus Rules Volleyball, but then we were realizing, like, we don't wanna just be volleyball, we wanna support anybody in any field that wants to use their gifts for the Lord, right? So that might be
Right,
music, it might be basketball, it might be
right.
just really anything, and a long-term vision is that we could support other people to do
Yes,
kind of what we're doing,
right.
because there is kind of a sacrifice you have to make if you do this, right? For example,
Mm,
I've missed out on a lot of sponsorship opportunities because I have chosen to wear
wow,
this shirt or be bold about the faith. Um,
wow.
so it would be nice to maybe help support other athletes or other people financially and just prayerfully so
That's
that they don't
so
have to be
good.
dependent on sponsorships or other
That's
things.
so important to know that our faith will cost us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a price literally in your case, like literally for us to be bold about saying that Jesus rules and he reigns and he is the King of Kings, it will
Mhm.
cost us possibly the level of where we can climb in the social status of our sport or our work or whatever our ministry is. But I love how you brought that up, that this is not for the weary. You know, if you're going to be bold and you're going to say, I live for him and I want to give him the glory, it is going to be a price to pay. And yet you seem very contented in who you are and you know your identity. So would you say that's a fair statement to make?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, as an athlete, the reason why I'm asking is because my kids are growing up. I have some out of college, some in college, some in high school, but they're all really into sports. My husband was a collegiate athlete. My daughter's a collegiate athlete. My son's going to be a collegiate athlete. So, a lot of us can relate to having either kids that are athletes or we were an athlete. I've had other athletes on the show. So, I mean, to be honest, how do you keep your identity in Christ as the foremost part of who you are when you have such a passion for a sport that easily can define you? Like, you're in the top 30 in the country. So
Mhm.
that becomes who you are. It
Yeah,
competes versus, that you are a son of
yeah.
Christ. So tell
Well, a
me about
couple
that.
things. One is realizing that this world will never satisfy you, right?
Mhm.
Even if you give everything to the sport and you win every tournament or you become the best in the world, that's never gonna satisfy you. You're just gonna you'll just be empty if that's all you live for.
Mm,
And there's a lot of testimonies of that, of people who have reached the top of the top and felt empty. So recognizing that, recognizing the Lord is really the only thing to build your life on is number one. And then also, maybe somebody does recognize that our flesh still tempts us to like
for sure.
kind of go to the world for satisfaction.
Mhm.
So that's why it helps having community and especially older people in the faith to like remind you of.
Mm,
That's why Michael helps so much. He's constantly reminding me of like, hey, this is why we're doing it. This is why you're playing.
yeah,
It's not just for the game.
right.
People are super important.
We're very forgetful people, right? Like,
Yeah.
this in your heart, but then you go out and you do your thing, and then you're like caught up in that. And then you need the church, meaning Michael and the guys around you to
Exactly.
remind you who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it. Because it's like you said, in our flesh, everything's so tempting in the world. Even me
Yeah.
doing a podcast, you're like, how many followers? How many this? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to worry about that, but I want it to reach people for Christ, but I'm doing it for him, but I want to be excellent. So it's such a juggling act, whatever it is that your passion is.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love how you guys have created a format that other athletes could do. Like, my son's a baseball player, my daughter rides horses, my youngest one is a volleyball player, and I'm thinking, gosh, they could be doing this even in high school or in their college. They could be making a community of other believers. So tell me about the curriculum that you do when you're having this, when you're doing your practices and you're starting with, is it a prayer? And then tell me
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
curriculum and the format of it.
It's pretty simple, and we do the same thing pretty much every single time is Michael or one of us will have something short prepared from the word or maybe something that the Lord's showing them. Often we'll go through a book or something, and we'll spend just the first 30 minutes or less of one person kind of preaching or sharing a message to the group.
Okay.
And then we'll pray after, we'll train, and then we'll pray at the end.
Got
And
it.
it's pretty simple. I guess the only rule is that you need to stick to the word and what it says.
Mm,
And I think if you do that, you can't really go wrong.
got it. So
And then
there's
just
no,
like
go ahead.
consistency is super important.
So
Just
like
like
every practice,
every
every,
practice, no matter what, even if my coach says, even if nobody shows up, we still do this, right? Even if it's just him, he's still going to do it.
oh,
Um,
wow. I love it.
because yeah, the important part is doing what the Lord wants you to do, not
Right.
how
Being
many
obedient.
numbers you have, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's for you. It's for your edification and your formation. It's
Also,
not
yeah.
just for the people you're with or the people that you're gonna go preach to. So when you actually go and spread the gospel and you're walking up to strangers, is that at tournaments that you're doing that, or is that also at practices?
Mainly tournaments, practices
Okay.
will invite people into us, and then they'll come, and then people, if we do it in public, right? Sometimes a lot of times we train at Laguna Beach, main beach, so a lot of people walk by, and some people will stop and listen or whatever. But
So interesting.
yeah,
Wow. So what would you say has been the hardest part of your faith journey while you're on the volleyball path?
I think I have a pretty healthy relationship with volleyball, to where I don't idolize it so much. Like
Mm,
it's not too difficult. Let's say I'm not playing well or different fortunate things happen. Like I think
Mhm.
I have a pretty level head about it. But
Mhm.
I think the most difficult part has been not having a consistent partner that's also a
Mm.
believer.
Oh, interesting. Right, makes sense.
I've played with a lot of non-believers, a lot of people that are like kind of lukewarm, halfway in believers.
Mhm.
And both of those have been pretty difficult. And then also I've had a lot of partners bail on me, right? So
Wow.
we make a commitment and then they at the last minute are like, "Hey, I have something else going on," or whatever.
Mm.
I guess that's been the most difficult part, and because I just have to rely that the Lord's gonna bring somebody at the right time. Like, right
Yeah.
now, I just found out actually 2 weeks ago that the guy I was gonna commit with for the next 2 years, he's retiring from volleyball forever. So,
Oh,
that was that
wow.
was news for me. Um,
Wow.
so right now we're in this season of, like, trusting the Lord's gonna bring the right guy at the
Mhm.
right time,
Mhm.
but I'm also really not too concerned. I There's a lot of things, that I care about other than volleyball.
But that's amazing that this is kind of your like, you're like such a great demeanor about it. You're laughing and that's kind of a major thing. This is also your livelihood, but I mean, do you have other sources like you're doing Jesus Rules and you coach and I love that you can be kind of you can keep it in its rightful place versus
Yeah.
putting it as the top of who you defining who you are. That
Yeah.
takes time to get
I
to there.
I think it's important for anything that we do that would be okay with never having it again, right? A lot of gifts the
Mm.
Lord gives us, I think He wants us to be willing to let go of them, right? It might be a sport or even a relationship or whatever it is. It's like,
Wow.
I think once you're willing to let it go, then the Lord will like really bless you in that. And I think volleyball is one of those things that like I'd be okay never playing again. And I think because of that, the Lord's blessed me a lot in this area.
So how did you get there? Because I mean, you're not even 30. You know, you're 25 and you're pretty young, as if I can say so. You know, I was at your age at one point, but the maturity you have of realizing, you know, you have to be able to open your hands and release something. You just sound very humble and that it's been a gift for you to have the skill and the ability to play to the level
Yeah,
you are. So for you to be able to say you need to be able to let it go at any
yeah,
time when it's like what you do and what you love is,
yeah.
to me, really profound.
Yeah, I think just over the past, I've been a believer for 7 years now, and feels like a long time now, but, I guess just over the years, like, I've held on to things too tightly and, maybe
Mm,
idolized things, and the Lord stripped me from things, and even as a believer, like and I've gone kind of, like, had these ups and downs of the Lord just stripping me of this love for the world and just
mm,
this, like, need to, like, hold on to my life, right? Because Jesus said that if you try to save your life, you'll lose it, but if you lose it for my name's sake, you'll find it,
mhm.
right?
So
So, like
good.
and that's I think the Lord does that to all of us of just we go through these ups
Yeah,
and downs, highs and lows, and the Lord's just kinda refining us, you know?
right, right. He allows the letting go. He allows something to come in and come out, right? He allow it's a gift, and then he lets it go, and I because he's in my opinion, and in my experience with my faith, he wants to always be the center and be the main
Yeah.
person and an entity that we're depending on is him, you know, on
Mhm.
Christ, rather than our sport, our job, our mate, you know, our
Yeah.
college, whatever it is. So you've just said that so powerfully. What would you want to say to anybody listening now who's at the start of their kind of higher level
Mhm.
sport journey, whether they're playing for the top club and they're getting recruited by colleges, or whether they're in college and they're getting looks, you know, to be traveling across the world or for the Olympics, you know, there's lots of different levels. What do you want to say to them about kind of their sport and their identity and faith?
Yeah, well, 2 things. If you are not a believer, then none of it matters without the Lord. It's not gonna satisfy you. It's not really worth anything. Um, Only in the Lord will you really be able to play or do whatever it is that you're doing, um, to the best of your ability and the way that you were designed to. So that's number 1, and then number
Mm,
2 is maybe you are a believer, you have to know that God wants you to do it. because that's what's gonna
Mm,
sustain you through the trials, right? Because once you play people think, oh, you play beach volleyball professionally, that's like super fun. That must be a great job. It's like, but when you do it every day, multiple times a day,
sure.
it's not like just a game anymore.
100%.
It becomes your profession. It becomes a job that sometimes you hate.
Mhm,
And if
mhm.
you aren't sure that the Lord has called you to do this, you'll give up. You'll waver. Um, you won't train as hard as you need to. And if you're just doing it because you feel like it, that's never gonna work.
Mm. So there's a measure of obedience in there because it's if he's wanting you to do it, that will sustain you when the going gets rough is kind of what you're
Exactly.
saying.
Yeah,
Got it.
when I'm doing burpees and sprints and I feel like I'm gonna die because my coach is pushing me so hard, I'm thinking, "This isn't worth the
Right.
volleyball wins. This isn't
Right.
worth the
Right.
accolades, but I believe God wants me to do this, so I'm gonna keep pushing through."
So how about the first answer you said was it's never going to be worth it if you're just doing it for yourself and but you're not doing it for him.
Mhm,
But somebody who doesn't know Christ or knows him a little, but maybe
mhm.
not enough, would say, "What are you talking about, dude? Like I've got 5 million trophies and I'm at the top club and I'm slated for the Olympics. What do you mean it's not going to be worth it?" Because to them, it's very joyful when they're winning.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that because I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Well, exactly that, like, you'll be very happy when you're winning, and you'll be very sad when you're not, and you'll kinda be up and down, and your joy, your peace will all be dependent on how well you do in the game, and one
Mhm.
day, you're not gonna be able to play,
Right.
and if
Right.
your whole life is built on the game, and you're gonna lose that, and then what are you gonna do?
Mhm. Success and failure defining you rather than having maybe a different definition and knowing that you're
Yeah,
his.
I'm always winning. I'm with the Lord, I'm always winning. I win
Mm,
every day when I wake up to when I go to sleep, when I lose or when I win a
that's
match.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's so inspiring. You have just such a great way about you. You're always smiling and your energy is infectious. So, I mean, I'm so rooting for you to just
Thank you.
go as far as you want to go, as far as you feel like the Lord's calling you to go. And the fact that you have found a way to preach the gospel and help people come to know Christ doing what you love. Like that's what's been really fun about this podcast is everybody I interview and talk to, the Lord has given them a passion and a gift and then he's using it. You
Mhm.
don't have to like, think that it's miserable being a Christian and it's like no
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Actually, it's opposite. Like he gives you a talent or a passion, something to love and work hard at. And then he goes out and he uses it to love other people and to love him. And that's what we're called to do is love God, love people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, just looking at my life and what I get to do with the Lord is like, it's kinda mind-blowing that I get to do
Yeah.
this, and I'll tell people often, like, going back to being able to let things go of when you're willing to let things go, he often gives you it back and so much more, right? So,
Mm.
but you have to be willing to let it go, and I've seen the Lord do that with me in volleyball. Like, I get to play the sport, I get to do ministry through it, all because I gave it to him, and he's able to do way more with it than I could ever do.
Mm. Yeah, to be willing to let it go and it might come back to you or he might use it in a different avenue, but you're still going to feel rewarded because he's leading you and he knows where the true joy is for your life. It's not
Yeah.
always going to be just your family, just your marriage, just your sport, just your career. There's joy to be had in other purposes in your life. So I don't know. I feel like you've got life figured out. At 25,
It doesn't always feel like
you're winning, Diego. You're winning. Puns
I am
intended.
winning, I am winning.
It's so, so cool. Okay, so one of the main reason why I named the podcast Room at the Table is when I was going through one of my hardest trials in my life, and this was only about 18, 19 years ago. Yeah, 19, 20 years ago. I went through something where I thought I was going to lose my third child. And it was a long 4.5, 5 months. And I was always a believer, but I wasn't really following as closely as I could because there were things
Mhm.
about Christianity that freaked me out that I felt like weren't nice and were judgy and very confusing because the Bible can be confusing if you don't really read it and study it and know the culture and the history of why things were written and what the promises are, things like that. And so he told me, Kimberly, there's room at the table for you with your doubts.
Mm.
And that was a very confrontive, moment where I thought, oh, he's telling me I got it. I can handle the fact that you don't trust me completely. Come anyway. and let me show you who I really am. And once you learn who I really am, you won't be confused and you'll
Mm.
be able to really follow me. So that's why I've named the podcast after lots of prayer and lots of years of wondering, am I going to do the podcast? What am I going to name it? And I realized after prayer and thinking about my life, he wanted me to call it Room at the Table because he is literally welcoming every human being, no matter their sin, their doubt, their suffering, their anger at him, their disbelief, room at the table to come and get to know him and stay a while and don't get up, stay there and get to know him. Don't just tap in and tap out. So, what group of people, I ask every guest this, what group of people or person in your life, you can be specific and name them, or you can have a broad generalization. What group of people or person do you wish really understood that there is room at the Lord's table even for them?
I mean, my initial thoughts are the believers um, that have, I guess, gone astray a little bit.
Mm,
I even look at my own life at like times that I look to other things for satisfaction. And it's like I actually just read in John chapter like 4 or something the other day or this morning I think, where Jesus says, "I am the bread of life."
mm,
That reminds me of like at the table, like there's the bread and the
that's
wine,
right.
and the
Hmm.
Lord says, if you eat this bread, like you'll
Go
never hunger
hungry.
again.
Right, right.
Right, and just like being reminded of that as believers and non-believers of he wants us to just feast in him all the time.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like when you go astray, when your mind is going the
Yeah.
wrong ways, like that's
Come back. Come back to the table.
come back. Yeah, there's a feast and it's always there.
So good. So many of us, I think, are like 1 foot in and 1 foot out with Christianity. Like we say we believe and we do believe, and we believe he was a real person and the Son of God, but then we don't really live it. So
Mhm.
I don't think any of my guests have ever said that it's kind of for the Christians who are like Christian light, where they want to believe, but they don't really want to believe, all
Mhm.
the stuff that he says. So that's a really good group because it's so many of us,
Yeah,
right?
and even find myself falling into
Yeah.
those temptations. Like, yeah,
Totally. Or picking and choosing at times. Well, I wasn't really gossiping or I wasn't really, whatever the thing is, like, well, wasn't really, that's not really a sin. Like we can all make up
yeah,
excuses, right? And go Christian light when it doesn't work for us. Or steer away at times and then come back. So I love that. There's always room at the table, no matter how many times you get up and walk away. So, really good perspective. Jago, what a joy it's been to like meet you and talk
yeah. It's
about
been great.
volleyball and talk about your career. And where can people find you? I'm going to have some show notes with your Instagram account and stuff, but where else can we
Yeah,
let people know?
Instagram is Diego Nick Perez, and then I have two YouTube channels. One is Diego Nick Perez, which is like more vlog and personal stuff of me
Okay,
preaching, and then I have another YouTube channel called Diego Perez Beach Volleyball, which is like my matches, very strictly just matches and volleyball tutorials.
cool.
And then I guess on our website, JesusRules.co. And I wouldn't mind people messaging me on Instagram or something if they want to come watch a training or train with us. Maybe you're good at volleyball.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever do speaking events?
I've spoken many places at churches, at events.
Mhm.
I don't really seek those out, but
Mhm.
for some reason I always get drawn to them or people call me to them.
Well, I just think that a lot of young men and young athletes need to hear other believers who are working their tail off on their sport and they have a trajectory, but they're also not compromising in their faith.
Mhm.
I just think that's rare. It seems
Yeah.
rare and they're hungry for it. And a lot of young men are hungry to have models, role models and mentors. I'm speaking because my son, who's about to graduate from high school, loves the Lord, but he's obsessed with his sport and they do really need mentors. His whole baseball team, they do Bible study at school. So it's like really cool, but they're hungry for examples like you. So
Yeah. Yeah. I've spoken to many different teams, churches, young adults, groups. Like,
awesome.
it's kind of whenever people ask me to go, I do it.
Cool. Well, you're awesome in every way, and I can't wait to watch you. And good luck if you're going for the Olympics in a couple
Thank you.
years or beyond. And everybody, go watch Diego's YouTube channels and like, subscribe, and follow him because I think he's going to be definitely making his mark. So God bless you, Diego. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to share it with a friend. In addition, please like, follow, rate, and review it on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. This really helps listeners find us. You can follow us on Instagram at Room at the Table for You, or Facebook at Room at the Table with Kimberly Milo. And to connect with me personally, email me at roomatthetableforyou@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, friends. And remember, there's always room at the Lord's table. He loves you, and so do I.